I never lied where I came from. Texas had its place for me to find a home deep in my soul. I must know the world as a whole.
Hey, I am Carol Coburn. Welcome to Creatives Cornerstone. This week we are featuring such amazing people. And I know that might almost get old when I say that because, well, I say it a lot. But truly, these guys are remarkable. Heather Bishop and Danny G. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, absolutely. My total pleasure. I feel like I've been waiting forever to get you on here. You guys are busy people.
We are.
I mean, between your gigs and your travel and all the things you have going on.
There's a lot. I mean, he was in Europe twice this year. So,
right.
I mean, that took up a lot of time. And then, we have a residency at Hole in the Wall. We're there every other week. And then we have, individual shows and that. So, yeah, we've got a lot going on.
I would love it. I have a little bucket and I have a big bucket. And my little bucket list is to make it out to see you guys at Hole in the Wall. My friend Jeremiah and I actually went one, was it a Saturday night?
It was during football season, I think, though. And so sometimes,
is that what it
sometimes
was?
Parking can be a little hinky just in the area if there's a home game.
That makes sense, given that its proximity to the university.
They do have, I think, on Hole in the Wall's website, they do have some guidelines to sort of help people figure out best places to park. But even then, sometimes it can be a little challenging. So I think that's what happened.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you explaining that because that intimidated me from future endeavors at that establishment. No offense, it's an amazing place. Y'all have done some really great stuff in that space, and I've seen it all over Facebook and social media, but it just intimidated me from that particular time. So I'm so grateful to know that isn't a norm.
No, the parking usually isn't that
it's
awful.
Not normally.
That was singularly probably the worst parking situation in the 5-6 years we've been doing that.
Yeah, it's not typically that bad.
It's been a little squirrely before, but it's not like I've been driving around for 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's not normally like that.
Right, but again, it's practically across the street
from the university.
From the university, from UT. So if they're having a game, it makes total sense that it would be.
And we're not exactly up on keeping track of the schedule. So
excuse me. Yeah, I took a personal affront at the fact that y'all didn't put out a warning that it could be an issue. I mean, hello.
We just drive there, and if we see a lot of people walking around wearing orange, it's like, oh, there must be a home game today.
So, well, and what is helpful, again, is parking is free after 6. So there's that. And we start at 6. So, if you do have to pay for parking, it's not typically very much. And then again, there's a lot of free parking just in general in the area.
Absolutely right. But again, with that game going on, all of that parking was gone. So that makes total sense. Okay.
Just the one time.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So tell me about your music. I know about your music. I have been a big fan forever.
Thank you for your support.
You guys, when you performed at Giddy Ups, which seemed like a really anomaly I didn't recall seeing you guys on the lineup before, but that is like my neck of the woods. That's like right where I'm at. And of course now, with all the Austin transitioning happening, that is no longer there. But it was so wonderful because it was like, I didn't have to worry about it. And I think my friend brought me anyway, but so tell us about your music. What kind of music do you play?
So that's a wonderful question. It's a question we actually ask other people. So I've always said, because we're both session artists, and so we play with a lot of other people. So from a practical perspective, we have so much experience playing all these different genres, it makes sense that what we end up playing together is an amalgamation of all these different genres. It's blues, it's rock, it's folk, it's pop, it's metal, it's all this stuff sort of brought together. So you mix that with our kind of personal influences. And so blues, rock, Americana, folk. I was surprised to discover that when we put this last album out, which came out a few weeks ago and we're in the process of promoting
Is that
everything.
What you
That's what I brought
me?
you tonight.
Yes.
so all of the various online, platforms and everything, they put us as country, and then within country they put Americana and folk, which I thought was interesting because I don't necessarily think of us as a country band.
That wouldn't come to mind for me.
I don't think most people do, but in terms of the classification systems, that's where people have put us. But
You have a pedal steel player sometime? Oh, you're country then.
But then think about Lucinda Williams. When you think about Lucinda Williams, do you think of her as being a country artist, or you just think of her as Americana or roots rock or what have you? So I think we fall under that category, where some of the stuff we play is definitely blues and bluesy and blues rock.
That's your voice epitomeses that to me. I mean, some of the songs that you've written that I enjoy so much, you have such a soul-filled. It's bigger than you are. I mean, it's hard for you to even contain when you open your mouth and just
all the stuff.
Yes, and it embodies that.
But then, I think about Winona, in the country world. I mean, she's very definitely country, but that is a bluesy country voice. Yeah. Not when she was with the Judds, obviously, because that was more sort of classical, kind of 80s country. Mm-hmm. But when she was on her own, she's very definitely into rock and blues and all that other stuff. So
she's an amalgamation. I mean, she is a full-bodied, yeah.
So maybe that's what the industry was thinking when they initially labeled this album that. Maybe they were thinking the kind of Winona thing, which again was not at all what I was thinking. But in the end, it's a bunch of different things. The feedback that I've gotten from friends is like, it's very vibey. It's comfortable and vibey.
Absolutely.
Cinematic.
Cinematic. There's a DJ.
Oh, nice.
A DJ with,
I hadn't
think
thought of that with
KUT
you.
has a DJ, and I never remember his name, but he's a really nice gentleman, and he's seen us a lot. And he mentioned to one of the staff at Hole in the Wall, he's like, everything they do is so cinematic. And I thought, I like that. That feels nice.
Drama.
Yeah.
Full. It's full.
Like it's all movie soundtrack type stuff. I thought,
that's an exceptional descriptor.
That felt good.
Yeah. I mean, it resonates on many different levels. That kind of description. Now, your playing is so solid rock in other things that I have seen. I mean, you bring that definitely to this situation here, but. Tell me about this 2 times you've been to Europe this year. A lot of people don't get to be there 1 time, and you went 2 times this year.
Yeah.
And it's an annual thing.
Kinda, yeah. I play guitar and bass for rock band Thunderosa, and they've been establishing themselves in Europe the last couple of years. We went January of last year. We did Netherlands, Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, Poland, Czech Republic, and Hungary. Like we went all over.
Get out.
And this year we went in January for 3 weeks, and then in September for 3 weeks, and kind of concentrated more on like Netherlands and Belgium, Germany, Czech Republic, places like that seem to really, really like us a lot.
I loved the pictures.
So one of the things that I have really enjoyed is that when he's playing with some of the sort of heavier rock bands, the style is so different, and it requires things from him that are very different than what my music requires of him. But I think that it ends up benefiting
absolutely
because the precision that's required for the metal and the hard rock is something that he then brings to my music, and then the subtleties and the nuances and the sort of the free range creativity that he has with me, then he can take or not take, and the cinematic elements. Then if he has the ability to take that to the metal, I mean, I just think it's a really nice marriage of styles.
I haven't had to rely on finesse so much. It's usually just, here's the part, execute it, play it loud, rock out, where it's like, here it's like, I don't even need to play anything right here.
just because we have a 7-piece band.
Yeah.
And so when you
Right.
have 7 people, I jokingly call ourselves Leonard or Heather Skinnerd, because there's, we have guitars and pedal steel and just all sorts of stuff. And so it's orchestral in that when you have so many people going and they're so excellent and
Yeah.
using your musical sensibilities, you're not just playing to play, you're
Sure.
literally playing off of what that other person is doing. And because all the folks who I play with are so professional, I don't tell them what to play. I
Yes.
start off with, here's the basic song, and then you are playing with me because you are excellent and have good judgment and
That
sound.
is such a good thing that you touched on, that you brought up, because that lends itself to the various variations of how you play, your skill set. So you don't have to necessarily even be super familiar with.
Correct.
Because you can just see, and that's the beauty. I do a lot of those music festivals with people that are sharing a mic or, around. And that's the beauty. I love it when the others will start joining in as
So
the person
organic.
is performing. Yes, it's just, and it's such a surreal kind of moment that it's not going to be repeated, and you recognize it as that. You see it. But any live performance is pretty much that way. I mean, anything can happen, and I'm sure you mix it up.
It can be harder in some
Right.
ways, and that's sort of what I was getting at with him, is it pushes you, if you're used to only playing a certain way, route, and all of a sudden you're in a professional setting where you're like, nope, fly, birdie, fly, improvise.
Right.
It pushes you creatively in a wonderful way. And so that's something that I think has been really good for him. And then for me, if I'm put in a situation where I have to play like this, I'm from a classical environment, and there's no improvising in classical music. I'm not improvising all over Beethoven.
Sure,
I'm like,
exactly,
no, it's
yeah,
just-
yeah.
So I think it's a lovely setting, I think, for all of us to be in our respective environments where we have to be very specific, and then to have this environment where we're not a hippie jam band. I mean, that's not what it is, but we do have fluidity with structure.
Fluidity and collective,
Yeah.
collective
Yeah, and
creativity.
There are a couple of parts in a couple of songs where there kind of is like some established written guitar interplay, and so it's like, oh, okay, well that part we'll do this, and then after that, just do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, and this is, I'm going to, for each one of you, Heather, your music, your tone, your energy, your resonating, sexy vibe with that tone is just, it's encompassing, and I don't want to call it a suck zone, but I mean, you are sucked into whatever you're singing because it's such a beautiful ride from start to finish. Danny, your guitar playing is so on point. There are a handful, not even a handful, there are 3 people I can name whose music takes me for such a ride that I sometimes don't even hear anything else. And you're one of the 3.
Thank you.
I mean, I still give airtime on Friday Night with Care to some of those things. And the fact that I can't remember, you wrote like 169 songs in like 30 minutes. Actually, it wasn't that. But the detail and the playing and the beauty in what you're doing, even in simplicity, is just fabulous. Thank you so much for the gift that you bring and that you share with us. And I am so excited to share these guys with you. We have known each other for a minute, beginning when Sean Clace introduced us at Concerts for a Cause. That's right. That was way back when, about 10 years ago, I
Yeah.
think. And I have followed you guys avidly since. You've been on my radio show a couple of
We
times.
really appreciate the support.
And it's a natural thing to want to tell people about something as good as you guys.
Thank you so much. It's, to be part of a community is something truly special, and that's how we look at music ultimately. You do your own thing, but you don't do it in a vacuum. You do it as part of a community, and we appreciate you being a part of that as well.
So, Danny, do you do music full time?
Up until COVID, yeah. Now it's kind of, scaled back a little bit just because I'm not a spring chicken anymore.
And you have a day gig.
I do
right?
have a day job, and I go back and forth. There are times where I'm mostly teaching, and that could be teaching music or other subjects and playing music. And there are times where I might have, I might be in finance, or I might be in engineering, or I might be in all of these different things. I have, I'd like to think, a broad skill set. And so there are definitely areas where I go in and go all in on those things during the day, and then my
Right.
evenings and weekends are all in on
Are
music.
all in on music, yeah.
A lot of my work is to help support other playwrights in the playwriting community and the theater community. So that's something I'm also very active
Can
in.
I ask you how you do that? In what role do you do that?
Sure.
Like in behind the scenes? I don't know what that means.
Sure. It means that I help promote, or I help create events and
Okay.
educational opportunities and scholarship opportunities and things of that nature, which is partly why my name is not on things. I sort of foster an environment for playwrights to get educational opportunities and scholarships, and I help put on festivals and things like that.
Wow.
But again, way, way behind the scenes, because it shouldn't be about me, it should be about the things that are there for them.
Wow. Now, how long have y'all been a duo? How long have y'all been musically connected?
Music at least 10 years plus at this
yeah,
point.
Wow.
yeah, at least 10 years. Yeah, we've known each other since shortly after you moved to Austin in the 2000s, early 2000s.
Crossed paths probably many times, Red River days.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that you weren't from Austin. So are you original Austinite, or are you?
I have been here since I was about 5.
Well,
So
yeah. Anything before doesn't really count.
yeah, almost all my life.
Yeah. And where did you come from?
Corpus, and I will
yeah.
have been here 25 years next month.
Wow. You grew up in Corpus?
Raised military, so kind of not really, but
Okay, yeah. Well, that explains the beach pictures a lot and the little pups. Oh my gosh. Y'all, I had never been, and so these guys are responsible for a first for me. And at this age and stage, I am all about the first, because they don't seem to come as frequently as, when you're younger. Their pup had a birthday.
Oh, that's right.
And they had a puppy party. And it was an experience. That was the cutest thing ever. That was adorable. What a wonderful get together for your peeps, for your people. And
less about the dog. He didn't care.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know,
So
man.
we gave him a
he was
cute-
totally into that cupcake.
We gave him a quinceañera and
my
one
gosh.
year, and then a Sweet 16 party the next year. Because
Yes.
he at this point, he's sort of blind and deaf and a lot of those things, but he's still going.
He's
so
still
you got
going.
to celebrate.
I just thought it was wonderful. What I took from that, yes, it was adorable for the pup. It was adorable. It was a great theme. But what I took from that was what a great opportunity to get together with your
bring
people
people
and
together.
just do something different in a fun manner. And I really appreciated being invited to that, because
you for-
that was really something, truly. Tell me about this new album.
Sure. The new album is called LoFi Nights. And I did actually get some questions about that, because lo-fi for some people is sort of a style of music. This is more low fidelity versus high fidelity. It's more a reference to the style of recording. And this is very low fidelity. It started at the height of the pandemic. It's isolation, it's fear, it's all that sort of stuff.
Wow.
And so this was recorded remotely. It's recorded,
just
Danny.
piecemeal,
Yeah.
one or two players at a time, because we can't get everybody together.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of it, I was even masked during some of it, because, certainly at the beginning of the pandemic, and we're not sure what's going on, and people can't be, people are isolating, and so you're in a room and you're like more than 6 feet apart, and the drummer's over there, and you're there, and you've got masks on, and everything's being wiped down. Some stuff you're recording, virtually. I mean, it was an adventure, to put it mildly, and then all the way to the point where we're all in person again and recording some things live. It was over the span of 4 years. We actually recorded 20 songs. 10 songs are on LoFi Nights, and then the next 10 will be on the next album, which will come out next spring. Because I'm not Prince, you don't need 20 songs from me all at once.
I think it depends on who you ask, really. I mean, way to keep it modest.
And and we divided the songs by style. So, 10 songs that are about the same sort of vibe are on this album. The next 10 that have a different vibe but are more similar are going to be on the next album. And it was, we've recorded at home. We've recorded a little bit at Space, the rehearsal studio. We recorded at the bass player's home. We record, just different places.
Yeah.
I lost my home during the Winter Storm Uri, so part of it was recorded at the home that I had, and part of it was recorded at the home that I ended up with.
And then all the equipment, all the recording equipment almost got destroyed.
Yeah,
Wow.
Because there was a flood and a fire, and they met in the middle, right where I was. There's a lot of Easter eggs in the lyrics.
Wow.
Because in one song, which we'll do later, there's a reference to flood and fire, and then that's where they met and destroyed my home.
Talk about a scrapbook.
It truly is. There's, like I said, a lot of little Easter eggs in there, and towards the end, Troy Millward, our drummer, actually passed away, which was devastating for the whole band. We had to stop recording. We had to stop playing. We couldn't touch our instruments. That was a devastating situation.
I
And
remember that peripherally.
we're still recovering from that, frankly.
Yeah.
We'll probably never totally recover from that.
Yeah.
But we also had to remember that he was such a huge instrumental part of the band and us forming and becoming a band. He was actually the person who asked us all individually to come together to perform a tribute to Izzy Cox, the late great Izzy Cox, the musician. Mm-hmm. And from that, we became a band over time.
Wow.
So we knew that he would want us to get back playing. We knew he would want us to continue and finish the album and, move it forward. But even knowing that that's what he would want for us was incredibly painful.
Certainly.
Yeah, this is already on top of I was recording and mixing it, and I've been guerrilla recording my own music for 30 years, but now it's like, oh, okay, there's drums and percussion, but the percussion is congas and timbales, which, he plays them with brushes, which has a totally different sound. How the hell do you mic that? Oh, I've never mixed pedal steel before. Oh, there's 3 electric guitars, sometimes more, and
it was an experience.
Yeah, there were several points where it's like, I'm in over my head. I don't know what the F I'm doing. Let's just give all of my raw tracks to Chris Burns because he knows what he's doing. I do not.
Chris Burns is this wonderful musician, producer, engineer,
we did
magical
the Flood
human.
album with him.
Who's with Bismo, who's with Asleep at the Wheel, doing their production for a very long time. He was with Dale Watson doing a lot of his production for a very long time. I'm not really sure who he's with now, but I know he's with the band Pocket Fisherman, and he's just a magical musical human being. He did the mastering on this, and I've been recording with him for almost as long as I've been doing music in Austin. Anything he wants or needs, I'm happy to do musically for him because he's just a stellar human.
Right.
But, we did get to the point where we're just going to give it all to Chris. No, we got to do it ourselves. We got to do it ourselves.
Because it's like, he knows what he's doing, but
there's something about doing it yourself.
I know how I want the album to sound.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this was a journey, a true journey, emotionally, physically, psychologically, musically. This was an incredible project, and we're really, really proud. Ideally, there will be a documentary because we filmed a lot. A lot of the film got destroyed, but we do have someone who, in theory, is going to help us recreate some of that. And at some point, we'll have a short film.
It was originally like, oh, let's do a documentary about what it's like to record an album during the pandemic, and then pandemic came and went. We're not done with the album yet. Okay, well,
and then and I know a lot of people know it's an open secret. I had a heart attack as well during this. earlier this year, before we finished, drummer passed away. The stress of that, I subsequently had a heart attack, truthfully from grief, between that and some other family things that were going on. But we kept going, and we got it finished. So that's why we're so delighted to be able to share this music with the world, because we really went.
Oh my God, we did it!
We went through hell, and
literally and figuratively,
we really did.
Truly.
And we're so delighted that it's here. We're happy to share it. We're happy to be playing the music and really moving forward and taking all the lessons, because we did learn a lot.
Yes.
And moving forward and hopefully in positive ways.
I watched your journey through COVID, and you guys were so incredibly active during that time.
We were so busy.
One of the things, and it's still fresh enough. I mean, it's only been 4 years, 4.5 years that that the world changed, and so I still ask the artists, "What did you do? What did you find? What were some of the lessons that grew out of such a transformation time?"
We were so busy.
Yes.
We created a children's program because I have some background in education and teaching, and we created a weekly children's program. It was education and music. I was hand sewing costumes for the dog to match the weekly lessons. So each week he was a new thing, and some made out of felt. So if we were teaching about penguins, that week the dog would become a penguin, and we would write music about penguins, and we would do lessons about penguins that people could stream for free.
I have to say, I caught a couple of those live streams, and it was a beautiful thing that you were doing. But there are some things you can't unsee, and seeing Danny doing some of these little cutesy bumblebee type things,
so
I'm
adorable.
like, because I've seen you rock, and then he was singing, about
singing songs about animals and volcanoes, and dress the dog up like a volcano. And this week
so
he's a tamale.
Adorable. And you guys, you had your full setup, and you did so much during that time. And one of the beautiful things, and I know that I've said this before on the show, but I'm going to reiterate, because one of the beautiful things about that time, as awful as it was, and how, because there are so many people that did lose people and lost so much, that I understand, obviously, the relevance and the significance and the sadness associated with that time. But for the rest of us living our lives and trying to get through it, you guys took that time to not only, I don't even know about reflection. So many people have said, well, I spent it writing music and reflecting on my life and making life-altering decisions and all these things. You guys, man, you hitched up your sleeves and you dug in and you made a production studio in your living room.
Yes.
And you streamed so consistently and out there, and I feel like you just didn't miss a beat, and it enabled so many people at home to be able to be part of. And that was the beautiful thing that I took from this pandemic era, was creatives got to create. And people found ways to do that despite the limitations. And, with all of the businesses closing down and all of the venues that, were holding things for people that got proactive have so much more respect from me than even before, because you didn't let it stop you. It didn't break you. It made you stronger. It taught you new skills. And your art and your beauty were delivered to those others. I mean, there are so many people that can't get to gigs, that can't go to places, that can't physically do it. And one of the things that's come from this pandemic is the streaming. So many people are now streaming. And, and I think it's wonderful. You put up your tip information, your tip jug up information, so that people can appreciate monetarily and give value streaming to your performance. But it opened that door to so many people that on the regular simply can't get out, that are dealing with life, caretakers that can't leave somebody, or people that deal with health issues that just physically can't get to the places. It's so wonderful. That is, I'm off my soapbox now. It's been a beautiful, beautiful thing, the streaming for people. I hope it continues.
We sat down and made a list of all the different things that we thought we could do, and then just systematically, we can do a live stream for this, and all the proceeds could benefit this group.
You did so much with that venue, with your
with Hole in the Wall.
Hole in the
Yeah,
Wall.
Yes.
yeah. We tried
to keep that the slot that we would have doing the residency there.
We continued to
'cause
stream
Hole in the
during
Wall-
that
And
same
you were
time.
giving them,
and
you
we
were
donated the money.
supporting
We weren't
them
making a
with-
lot of money,
Because
but
I
we
understand.
But
still.
residency is half the reason she has a full band.
Yeah.
So we wanted to continue to play during that time period, at least live stream. We did the educational program. I became a private chef for some folks in the area. So I was cooking, and I just made sure I cooked extra, and then took that food to some folks, some meet in the neighborhood. Just anything that was, musical, educational, artistic. I taught some classes for a local school district on how to make musical instruments out of basic household things. So for kids who are at home who wanted to play music and weren't really sure how, here's how you make a little guitar out of things. Here's how you make percussion instruments. So just anything that I could do that was positive and educational and still kind of moving the thing forward. I wasn't bored. I really got into gardening, and then with that got gardening co-ops, and then used that for the private chef stuff. I mean, it was
What a beautiful thing.
and anything that we could do that was still moving things forward in a positive way.
Folks, here on Creatives Corner, obviously we have creatives, right? Are you noticing a theme though with the folks that are coming on and sharing their gifts, their stories with you? They're all really submerged in the community, and it doesn't end with Saturday night's gig.
No.
Wiley Ross and Karma Montaigne and their guerrilla gardening. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What a trip. There's just so many things that make Austin special, make the Texas Hill Country special. It doesn't just stop in Austin. That's where we're located, and that's where a lot of our resources are coming. But before we put y'all behind the mic, can you share with me a favorite, some performance that really stands out to you, an experience, music-based?
Sure. Playing ACL a few years ago was pretty fantastic. We both are in the backing band for Shandon Somm, who's Doug Somm's son.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Somm, of course, with the Texas Tornadoes, and had his own career. And so we were supporting Shandon. We played ACL, and that was pretty phenomenal to look out there and to see, all those people.
Wow.
And the stage was huge, and you're like, okay, we're really doing this. That was.
Oh yeah, this is our first gig.
And that was our first gig for that tour, too.
Wow.
So that was.
No pressure.
That was quite an experience. And I know many years prior, as in a duo set with the bass player Yogi Musgrove, I was one of several bands, but I opened up for Taj Mahal, and that was years ago, and that was in Houston. And it was a similar thing where you look out and there's just like thousands of people everywhere, and you're like, okay, slightly
special.
terrifying, but really special. So any of those shows that are just really huge with big audiences, and the stage is really huge and everything, those are really going to stand out. But on the flip side, I have absolutely had shows where it's really you and the bartender and maybe one other person in a small venue, and those shows are really special too, because they're so small and they're so intimate, and you end up telling stories and making jokes, and there's something so electric sometimes about having those
interaction.
those really
And
tiny
also still
things.
going in there and destroying the place like it's a full house.
I mean, you're still gonna
Right.
when you're cooking. There's a saying that when you're cooking and you really do a good job, you put your foot in it. Not literally, but it's just a phrase.
Thank you.
You have those shows that are so tiny and intimate, you put all that extra oomph into it because you feel like if there's only one person there, you want to make it extra special for that one person. So I think really big shows and really tiny shows, for whatever reason, stand out a little bit extra.
I think the for the more intimate shows, you never know who's going to come in the door.
That's true.
You know,
Had a lot of those nights when I was playing with Stupid Drama at Carousel Lounge.
Oh,
you know,
wow.
Because it's like,
Yeah.
you know, we know there's not going to be a big
Right.
crowd, but we know the few people that are here are all of our musician friends.
Right.
So it's like,
right.
I always pretend that Nile Rodgers is in the audience. Always. At every show. If Nile were here, would he be happy with your performance? And if halfway through the set, I think to myself, I don't think Nile would like this, then I know it's time to step it up. I pretend, honestly, he's there. And I adore him for lots of reasons, personal and professional. And I always pretend like if he wouldn't be impressed, well, then I guess you're not doing your job.
Well, you know, some of these gigs, like with open mics, you really are performing to the artists because they're there for the open mic. And I would think in many situations that's kind of harder, just because, you know, that's like talking about like a jury of your peers.
Yeah, they know what you're doing or not doing.
Jeremiah, who runs cameras here on the show, he is a comedian and does stand up. And oftentimes, and just a couple of times that I've been able to go, coordinate to go to the show, he's performing to other stand-ups. And, you know, everybody in there has got their, you know, everybody's ticking that off in their brain, like, you know, judging. You know, so I would think that would be really almost harder.
I do find the community to be fairly supportive, but
Absolutely.
but you still do want to make sure that if folks are doing the exact same stuff that you're doing, you really, you want them to be pleased.
I have one last question, and I know that we are going over on the interview segment here, and my apologies, but you are such a positive person. You always share, despite life's, they're not even speed bumps, really. You know, life's crevices,
Ups and downs.
you know, you're very positive. What do you meditate?
I do. I do.
I mean, do you have like a pre-show thing that you go through, or something like that, you know, gets the mind set in what you're doing or focused?
Certainly for the larger shows, I definitely meditate specifically before any sort of very, very big show. But I do actually meditate twice a day, no more than like 5 minutes. And
Right.
setting my intentions. How do I want to show up for the day? How do I want to show up for the show? What kind of way in which how do I want to interact with the band? How do I want to interact with the audience? How do I want to interact with the people here? And just sort of take a moment to...
Yes.
Okay, how am I going to walk into this room? How do I want to be with the people here?
Intention.
Yeah,
That is a
I just
really
try and be
good
intentional.
keyword.
And then I like to think that everyone is having a good day or a bad day or a challenging day, and I try to allow for being more patient, because you never know. And I know it's almost trite to say that you don't know what
But
kind of
it's so
day
relevant.
people are having or what's going on. But that person who's being really grouchy with you, you don't know if they just got diagnosed with cancer, if their mom just died, they just got out of an accident. You truly don't know. And that doesn't mean that what they're doing that's crappy is okay. It doesn't excuse the behavior, but it does mean that perhaps if you are not snippy or ugly with them, perhaps if you just give them a moment of grace, you give them an opportunity to walk out of it.
Yes.
And I do happen to believe very strongly in that. I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, it seems to work for me.
Right. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. I really wanted to know, as do, I am sure, our viewers. All right, next time you see them, they're going to be mic'd up and playing for you.
Hey there, I'm Heather Bishop, and this is Danny G. This song is called Westbound Train.
want to shine for you unless you're real, unless you're true. Don't want to hear you say my name if you're just another clever westbound train. I've worked the carnivals till midnight, I've known a gypsy or two, been on my knees in the garden of redemption. Lie to me, and I'll lie to you. I don't want to shine for you if you think you've got something more important to do. Don't want to hear you say my name if you're gonna trade your good intentions for fame. I've been from here to Madagascar, I've been to Paris, I've been to Rome, seen the 7 wonders of the world, and I can tell you where you lay your head. That ain't a home. Take my hand and let's go dancing. Unleash the heart, the soul, the bones. This precious world is for romancing. No need to walk this world alone, alone, alone. I don't want to shine for you unless you're real, unless you're true. Don't want to hear you say my name if you're just another clever westbound train. I work the carnivals till midnight, and I've known a gypsy or two, been on my knees in the garden of redemption. Lie to me, and I'll lie to you. Lie to me, boy, and I'll lie to you. Don't you lie to me, and I won't lie to you. Meet me in the middle of the porch next Sunday, wear your dancing shoes. It's been a long, long time since I've danced with you. Place your hands around my waist like you used to when you came. Close your eyes, smell my perfume in the air. Swing me round in a circle. Let the birds and bees stare. Still waters run deep under there. I ain't offering forgiveness. I ain't asking for it too. All I'm telling you, my darling, is I'd like to dance with you. Meet me in the middle of the porch next Sunday and wear your dancing shoes. I ain't offering forgiveness. I ain't asking for it too. All I'm telling you, my darling, is I'd like to dance with you. One more time. I ain't offering forgiveness. I ain't asking for it too. All I'm telling you, my darling, is I'd like to dance with you. Sunlight on the water, new moon, sons and daughters, season come and gone, always moving on, moving on. Rock stone meets wooden wire. Hurricane meets flood and fire. It breaks down, then you raise it up. Pours out, then you fill the cup. Yeah. Yeah. wait in the trees, whisper of the dream, sunrise, new dawn, reflections moving on, moving on. Yeah. Rockstone meets wood and wire, hurricane meets flood and fire. It breaks down, then you raise it up. It pours out, then you fill the cup. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going down to the river. I'm going down. I'm going down to the river. I'm going down. 15 years I've been working the rails, $5 a day I've been driving the nails. Up country and down I've been working the land. Lots of time to think, no time to understand. Oh, I'm going down to the river. 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 Yeah, yeah. Water cuts through stone, words cut through man. Dollar bills ain't so, gold ain't the promised land. Devil can get your tongue, whiskey can take you there. Redemption on the wind, angels are everywhere. And I'm going down to the river. Oh, I'm going down bow that can land high by the firelight. Up country and down, I've been working the land. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lots of time to think, maybe I'll understand. Oh, I'm going down to the river. Oh, I'm going down to the river. Yeah, I'm going down to the river. We're all going down. We're all going down, 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 down to the river.
All right, y'all. What do you think, huh? We got Danny G and Heather B. You guys, thank you so much for being on the show today. I know I took your microphone here, but
Thank you for having us.
oh, absolutely. Such a pleasure. Always, always. Tell us one more time the name of your new album and
LoFi
where to
Nights.
find you.
LoFi Nights, and you can find us at heather.fm or Heather Bishop Music TX on most of the social media sites.
Yay. All right. Thank you so much. Guys, I hope you will go to creativescornerstone.com and check out all of our other episodes. We've got some good ones. It's all linked to our YouTube channel. You can read about the bands and then check out the episodes. If you do join us on our YouTube channel, please like and subscribe. We are trying so hard to grow the channel so that we can get more of an audience for these amazing creatives. Till next time, bye.
We hope your new realtor plays drums in a band. We hope your new dentist is its front man. We hope live music always makes you proud. Just don't call the cops if you think it's too loud. South by South by South by Southwest. We hope you'll like it so much you'll move here just like the rest of us non-native